Hey everyone, this is Andy Malbuff, and in this video, this is going to be our part 3 look at using the geometry component inside of Desmos activities, and we're going to take specifically a look at transformations. So let's go ahead and get started. On this screen, I've already loaded the geometry component, and I've left it as the only component here so that we get this large canvas for teachers and students to work with. If we're going to do some reflecting, we need something to reflect first. So I'm going to create a polygon. This time I'm going to create a quadrilateral. And if I'm going to reflect that, I need to reflect it over something. So I might need to create a line or a line segment. I'm going to choose the line tool. And I'm simply going to make a line tool or a line out of this line tool right here. And now I can choose to go to the Transform tab right here. And we need to pick what kind of transformation do we want to do. So if we choose reflection, the first step we need to do is choose the line of reflection. So that's this line I created right here. And then the next step is select some objects to apply this transformation to. So I'm going to select my quadrilateral, and then I choose Apply. So what you're going to see here on the left-hand side is this original quadrilateral reflected over the line, and students can again manipulate this, and the reflection will change dynamically with any student manipulation. And again, I can do some things with this original quadrilateral. For example, I can give it a label, and this will show the area inside. I don't necessarily want that, but I could call it orange, and I could also add a label for perimeter if I wanted. Now this reflection will also have the same perimeter. So that's again how I can create a reflection, and I have to create my line I reflect over inside of the geometry component. On this next screen, we're going to take a look at using a translation as a transformation. So again, I want to maybe create a polygon. This time maybe I'll just make a triangle, and I'm good to go there. Now, at this point, if I choose, not more tools, the transform submenu here, I can choose a translation, and I need to choose a starting point. So if I pick one of these vertices I had created here, and I want to move to, say, here, I can then apply this to some figure. And so that shows a translation there. And again, students can manipulate this, and they can see that movement. Now with translations, we usually talk with students about how much we're translating and what direction. So it'd be ideal if we could have a coordinate plane here. Well, this geometry component is a little bit limited. I don't have many options, but one thing I can do if I click on this wrench for settings over here is I can put a grid on the background. So if I wanted to locate points maybe here, here, and here, I could use this to show a translation of 6 units to the right. Or this would be a translation of 5 units to the right and 2 units down. So unfortunately, this blank grid is the only background I can put in the geometry component. On this next screen, we're going to take a look at how we can create rotations. So again, I want to start with a polygon. I'll do this a little bit quicker. And I'm just going to make a triangle again. Now, once I've created that triangle, if I go to the Transform menu and I choose Rotation, I need to choose a center point. Where am I going to be rotating this around? So I can drop this point wherever I want. So maybe I might want to locate it here. And then I can choose the angle in degrees. It can't be changed to radians. It has to be degrees. And I can choose what angle I want to rotate. So let's say I keep 90 in here just as the default. And then I need to click the polygon that I'm going to rotate 90 degrees around this point. And I click Apply. and there's a 90-degree rotation around this point, and I could label this point, maybe I want to call it point C for a center of rotation, totally up to you. And if I go back to transform, I have my rotation in here. It's already applied to one object, but I can apply it again. And I can keep rotating around point C. And if point C moves, you'll see our rotations move. So kids can do some interesting things with this in terms of rotations. And I have a 90-degree rotation. I could change that, and I can use negative angle rotations. So I've changed it to negative 45, and now you see our rotation of 45 degrees in a clockwise direction around this center point wherever I move it. On screen number 9, we're going to take a look at creating dilations. So again, I'm going to create a polygon to start with, and I'll stick with my default triangle here. So my triangle is created, and now I can go to the transform menu, define my transformation. I'm going to go down here to dilation, choose a center point. So where we put this point kind of determines what's going to happen here. I'm going to put this kind of right in the middle or close to the middle, and my default scale factor over here is 2. Maybe I'll make it a 3. So we're going to dilate by a scale factor of 3. Select some objects to apply this to. I'm going to select my polygon and apply it. And there's a dilation by a scale factor of 3. Now if I were to move my center point, you can see how we can dilate moving up, left, right, and down as well. And if I want to apply another scale factor, maybe 0.75, applied to one object, here's a scale factor of 0.75, so we're getting a reduction in size there. And I can create several of those, and then students can create some interesting outcomes. Lastly, in looking at transformations, we can combine more than one transformation on an object. So I'm going to start again with a triangle, and maybe I want to do some reflecting and rotating together. So I just need to decide what I want to happen first. Maybe I want to rotate this first and then reflect it. So if I want to rotate this, I'll go to my transform menu, and I'll choose to rotate it from here, and I want to go negative 90 degrees. And I'll apply it to this polygon, and there's my rotation. And I can move this point to show that rotation from different center points. And maybe I want to take this transformed image that was a rotation and then reflect it. So I can add another one over here. Reflection. Now I need a line, so I have to click cancel because I don't have a line here yet. But I'll make a quick line segment, and I'll put it here, and now I can go back and add that reflection, choose my line of reflection here. What object do I want this to apply to? This one, and then I can apply it. Oops, I clicked the wrong one. I'm going to undo. That was the rotation. There we go. So here, and if you want to put different colors in, you can certainly do this. I can make my original one orange for discussion with students. I can make my reflected one, or my rotated one, purple, and my reflected one green. And again, as with all the others, any change to the original triangle creates different options here. And these all will maneuver according to where I adjust. So that's a look at doing transformations with the geometry component inside of Desmos activities. Thanks.